right, should be up and running here. We got quite a few plays to go over today. We'll be going over the market as well. Definitely some whippy price action that we got. So we'll take a look at that, see what that means for the rest of the week. Let's get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for August 3rd, 2021. Q's up 0.61. You can see kind of the whippy price action that we had. SPY up 0.82, and then IWM 0.41. So all of them showing a little bit of weakness early on, but as you know, bullish bias on the Q's and SPY, neutral on the IWM, and all of them put in a pretty decent rally here into the end of the day after showing just a little bit of weakness early on. Now, Qs, we already know where we need to break before we start looking for any bearish opportunities in the market. SPY looks like we got really close there, 435.99 and 436.10, so close as well. But it's not just a matter of breaking it. Even if we had broken that bottoming tail there, it would have been had to break it, get some follow through. Then we start looking for bearish opportunities in the market. Okay, so coming into or going into tomorrow, it's going to be the same as what we had coming into today. Okay, still bullish. This, at least on the SPY, confirmed the support. Qs did as well. 20 MA, you can see curling up underneath. IWM still doing what it needs to do in order to potentially be bullish, just hanging out in this area. Like we said, more that it bases, the better. If it just shoots up and goes up to this pivot, I'm going to miss out on that move. That's fine. Next pullback will be a bullish opportunity in the IWM. Okay. All right. So that is going into tomorrow. That's the plan. Still bullish on these. We know where support is. All right. Until that breaks, we're not going to be looking for any bearish opportunities. All right. Okay. Where do we begin with the plays from today? Because there was a lot. There were some fast ones, there were some slow ones. They were pretty much just a lot of bases that we had today. But we start with, in the pre-market, we go over which are our favorite gaps. For me, the favorite gap up, there were two, ARCT and the ATKR. Nice shock value there, and then ARCT doing a nice kind of transition here on the daily here. Okay, favorite gap downs, CRSR and the KOPN. Okay, those are the two favorite gap downs. I don't know how many we had total today. I'm gonna guess like 75 or so gaps. Well, I'm sure we'll have even more tomorrow. Earnings season is still in full swing, so tomorrow will be busier, I think. But those were the two. So two favorite ups and two favorite downs. I thought HLIT was good. The gap was just a little bit too big. All right, but that one also was a close watch. Okay, but didn't make kind of at least the favorites. HLIT, pretty good follow through here on the HLIT. Mentioned this breakout this morning. Okay, you can see there's kind of like the 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 2 minute. So I'll show you kind of how that works. Here's the igniting bar, 2, 3, and then triggers on this bar. Stop should go here. But I made a mistake on this. Show you what the mistake was. And so that's the breakout. This never gets taken out. It takes its time getting going, though, the HLIT. It's not until kind of the end of the day it takes off, but that holds out pretty well. And then if you had been kind of trailing it hourly bar by bar, you're in it till end of day. So let me show you the mistake I made on this. So the HLIT, so you saw that 2 minute, 1, 2, 3, 4. Should have stuck with that. What I decided to do is I thought that this reversal of this engulfing bar here was okay for me to bring this, or to use that as the stop. So that ended up not being the right place to put the stop. I get shaken out right there. It does cut the stop down by 10 cents, and I think it becomes a 25-cent stop instead of a 35-cent stop. But if I'd put it here, less aggressive, a little bit more secure of a stop, that does hold. So Mistake on my part in choosing where to put the stop. I think we went over the TDS yesterday. I thought that was, saying how I use this stop. I think that was the right place to put it. Here was the reasoning. Sometimes you pick the right place, sometimes you don't. Okay, this one I did go opt for a little bit more aggressive of a stop. Okay, and that did cost this one from being able to be in it for the nice move. Okay, the HLT, but really nice gap, really good. I think it was the right idea to focus on it. Just the execution not quite right daily, but daily is really nice. Okay, the next play, also a base, but now we've got one of the favorite gap downs basing for a breakdown. So here's the base breakdown here on the KOPN. Pretty straightforward. Okay, you can see it spent more time basing than the HLIT. This came up later afterwards. And just, I thought, ended up being in it until I think the last piece trailed around 550 or so. So that was okay. That was about 3 hours. I did not hold a runner on this, which is a little unfortunate because it did get to a bigger target there. See, the low ended up being 537. So yeah, I guess a little bit impatient today, maybe a little bit aggressive. Sometimes days are just like that, where you come in and maybe I was excited about just the gaps list that we have, the increased activity, the more plays that we're getting. So it was kind of a little bit more aggressive. As far as being patient on the play, I think this is fine. It did get a little bit of acceleration here. Volume picked up, so that's why I trailed it. But you can see it did continue lower. That's fine. It's not realistic to expect I'm always gonna catch the low on a short or catch the high, but it was a deviation from plan. Okay, and then this 2-minute buy setup. I did see this. Man, this thing was just so spready. Sorry, not the ATIP, the ARCT. ARCT and the ATKR were both just, I thought, a little bit too spready. Now, they both really work. They're the favorite gaps. And sometimes you're just not going to know that that's the case, that they're very spready until they start trading. You can get a little bit of an idea based on the volume on the daily, but there's a really nice 2-minute buy setup. Okay. But I ended up letting it go. It just was moving really fast. 40-cent spread or so at times, and so ended up letting that go, and that ended up being, I mean, just look at the size of that bar, so the opportunities are there. It's just a matter of executing correctly. This one is a little bit tough. I'm not too disappointed about this, but right idea. So you can see kind of out of the ones that we identified in the pre-market to be favorites, ARCT, ATKR, KOPN, and then we'll go over the CRSR. 3 out of the 4 really work. Now the CRSR, I like this gap today. Ended up, something got into it. You can see that this base breakdown here, I don't really have a problem with. It didn't work, and it reversed right away. So I did kind of jump out of it as soon as it triggered. So I did lose a little bit on this, but here was the base that I played in the morning to play that breakdown. I did like this gap, and it kind of told you right away, that was the low for today. You can see there's an alert here. I'll watch it again tomorrow, but just based on how jumpy it is, I'm probably not gonna get involved in this again. Even before that breakdown failure, it was kind of going back and forth a lot. So, but I mean, I like this on every time frame. You can see weekly is getting pretty weak there, trying to break down. Monthly also tried to pop, and that failed. So I don't really have a problem with this play. I like it. It's just it just didn't work, and that's fine. I mean, you can see, like I said, the ARCT, ATKR, CRSR, and KOP and all those favorites, 3 out of 4 really worked. And so I think overall, yeah, it wasn't too bad. And then the only other play, this came up later because this wasn't a gap, the ATIP, and we're showing a lot of relative strength here. So. Sammy had a play on it initially on this base breakout there. I know he brought the stop up here, and so they didn't trail out until I think off the 15 later on. But I played it, I got in after they did, just off that pullback, 5-minute base curling up underneath. So I liked that, and then a little bit of room here. But yeah, it didn't end up managing it all that well. Just took some on the initial move up and then trailed underneath that inside bar. So you can see that shook me out. I didn't try to replay it or anything. I knew kind of at that point that wasn't really that patient today like I normally am. I mean, we look at like yesterday's plays, IMVT, and the TDS. I mean, I was in those till in the day. It was in, I think, the IMVT basically from the open till close. But today, just I think part of that maybe just there's a lot more things to look at. Yesterday as a Monday, I know what my favorites are, and there was really only two. And so today you can see there's more, and then we're also finding more gaps and more plays. So that might have been it. Just the pace picked up, and I think that kind of sped me up a little bit as well. But I need to just kind of stick to the management and stick to the play. So that was fine. AT, IP, and KOPN, those were the two that kind of, especially the KOPN, made the day. But I think, focused on the right things. So we'll see kind of what tomorrow brings. But the plays are there. I think that's the point. The quality's there. The good gaps are there. Some of them a little bit trickier, like with the ARCT and the spread and things like that. But the good thing is the opportunities are there. Okay, and that's what we expected going into this week. Okay, hope you did well today. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.